Hey, welcome everybody. I'm WABE politics reporter Raul Valley, and you're watching the forum for the candidates running for Tucker City Council District 3. This is organized by Rough Draft Atlanta. I'm joined by Kathy Cobbs, managing editor for Rough Draft Reporter Newspapers, and Delaney Tarr, who's a journalist for Supporter Report. This is not a debate. This is a chance, an opportunity for candidates to introduce themselves to the voters in Tucker, share where they stand on issues. And how we're going to get started, we're going to let each candidate take 30 seconds to just introduce themselves. We do have a timer on the screen that'll let everybody know how much time is left. Let's start off with our first candidate, Sam Ulrich. Please introduce yourself to everybody. Take 30 seconds.
Hi, my name is Sam Ulrich. I've been a Tucker resident for 8 years. I've been working in finance for just over 10, and I've been trying to be more educated and involved in Tucker ever since the moment I moved in. It's something that I've been passionate about and tried to gain a foothold in knowledge before taking a step into the race. And now I hope I have a chance to put that knowledge to use.
Thank you so much. Alexis Weaver, 30 seconds. Introduce yourself to everybody.
Hi, I'm Councilwoman Alexis Weaver, and I am honored to represent District 3. I'm running for re-election to continue providing experienced and thoughtful leadership so people in Tucker can thrive. I have more than 2 decades of community development experience, a degree in urban planning, and I'm a mom of 3. Having lived here for 13 years, I've focused on inclusive policies that make it easier for everyday people to live, work, and stay in Tucker. And I have the qualifications, personal and professional experience, and proven results to continue to represent District 3.
Thank you so much. Now I'm going to bring in Kathy and Delaney into our conversation. They're going to have a series of questions for both of you. Each of you have 60 seconds to respond to each question. There, again, we have the timer, and let's just get going. Kathy, first question for both candidates.
All right, thank you. For both of you, do you feel that a new mayor coming in to run the city would change the priorities laid out by the predecessor, Frank Allman? And what specifically would you like to see as the new focus for this city council?
Let's start with Alexis. Alexis, you have a minute to respond to Kathy's question.
Sure. Well, one of the great things about our city form of government is that we are a council manager form of government. And part of the reason for that is so that when we change leadership, we don't have a drastic change from our plans and priorities that have been engaged in the community. That said, I think we have a wonderful opportunity with a new mayor to really come together as a council through our planning retreats and other conversations and really talk more about what our individual priorities are and how we want to see those implemented and how we can support and encourage our city manager to be able to implement those policies and to work with staff to be able to do that. So I think we have a great opportunity to engage with a new mayor and really have those collaborative conversations more consistently.
Thank you so much, Sam. A minute of your time on that question.
I think now is a pivotal time in Tucker's history. Just, the first mayor being one of the establishing members of the city and working so hard behind the scenes to help the city become what it is today before even becoming mayor is something that can't be understated in its importance. And the new mayor is going to have pretty big shoes to fill because Frank has done a tremendous job in his 9 years. That being said, there's some tremendous candidates for mayor this term, and so we're going to be extremely lucky with who we have coming in. They are also guided by some pretty community-driven master plans that are in place for the paths and the parks and all of these other things that are within our charter. So they are guided in a way by councils of the past, the community in itself, and they have a very well-established success route to follow. And as long as they stick to that and as well as implement their own ambitions, they'll do great.
Thank you so much. Delaney Tarr, your first question to both of our candidates.
Hello, everyone. Now, some contentious issues like the proposed pickleball courts have caused public debates between the mayor and city council that turned into public clashes. Now, what is your plan to navigate potential disagreements within the mayor and council while maintaining public decorum?
So let's flip the order around. Sam, you get the first crack at this question.
Sure. I think the pickleball complex is something that everybody can agree was very contentious and divided the community pretty heavily. And it was a huge learning experience for people within the council, within the community, and even myself included. It's something that has led everybody I know to say community involvement needs to be earlier in the process. There needs to be more of a feedback loop between the council and the citizens and the citizens and the council, and make sure that even if ideas that are floated are not implemented, there may be reasons why. And so I think increasing that information flow is something that's going to be increasingly important in the projects that come, and making sure that people don't just see the minutes from a past council meeting and find out that something that's going to be in their backyard happened and was voted on last week because they see the recording happen.
Thank you so much. Alexis, a minute of your time on this question.
Sure. One of the issues behind the pickleball was that even though there was a contract that required community engagement, that didn't happen. And it is really important that we as a city, the city staff, that we operate as the best neighbor that we can be. And so I think, the lessons learned are we should uphold the commitments that we say we are going to uphold as a city. And I am pleased that I was able to contact the folks who were most potentially impacted by that project because they were intentionally left out of the conversation. And over 18 months, I was asking about that behind the scenes, in writing and, in person, and not getting any answers. So I think it is important that we really name the processes and we are truthful and transparent as we move forward while still respecting the opinions of different people in the community.
Thank you so much. Let's go back to Kathy Cobbs for her second question to our candidates.
Thank you. Do you think now is the time for a dedicated police department? And do you feel like Tucker is ready to put in the time and effort into recruiting and establishing their own police department, and why?
We'll start off this round with Sam. Sam Orrick, your thoughts on this question?
Sure. I think the recent study that was put out by the Tucker Civic Association was incredibly enlightening and well researched. I don't know if now is exactly the time, mostly because it's going to take so much work and research to do it right. It's something that you can't do it twice. You have to do it right the first time, or else you will lose more trust in the public than you have already. And in order to do it right, you need to do the work, and you need to do the research and the community outreach, and you need to make sure that it's done not only in a way that the community wants, but that the community respects. And it's going to take a referendum before anything happens in the first place. So we need to make sure that it's what the public wants, and then also make sure that if it is something they want, that it is implemented properly, judiciously, and expediently.
Alexis Weaver, your thoughts on having a Tucker police force?
So public safety is a very important issue for our community, and any conversation about whether we should start our own police force must start with community engagement in person, not just on social media. DeKalb PD is Tucker's police department. They are our policing department and our partner. There are lots of opportunities for a stronger partnership. But with Lorraine Cochran Johnson's leadership since January 2025, we're already seeing significant countywide investments in public safety, millions of dollars of investment that at this time the city can't take on alone. We have a lot of opportunity. There's already been improvements to the system under her leadership. And so we should make sure our intergovernmental agreement is as strong as it can be. But we've seen that accountability and data-driven changes can really make a difference. And then I also just want to say public safety starts before crime occurs. And so we need to continue to really focus on a vibrant economy, implementing our economic development strategic plan, and making sure we have lots of activity in our business corridors.
Thank you so much. Delaney Tarr, your second question for our candidates.
As Tucker continues to grow and develop, how will you approach housing? Specifically, what is your position on higher density housing, affordable housing developments, low-income residences, and things of that nature?
Alexis Weaver, we'd love your response. 1 minute on that question.
Sure. Housing is the most pressing issue for Tucker and across the country. Housing accessibility and affordability affects every person that lives here, regardless of their income. And having housing costs that overly burden renters and homeowners means they have less income to spend in our community. And so we really need housing options for seniors who want to retire but not maintain a large home, for disabled adults who want to stay in community but have some more independence. The average income worker in Tucker does not have a place to live. So teachers, police officers, and nurses without being cost burdened. And so I've been an advocate to have the data that we need at the local level through our 2023 housing study. And I worked to bring in ULI Atlanta to help us identify which best practices and policy recommendations will work best for Tucker. So our next step as a city is to work together on the council and with the housing task force to identify which areas we can address first, streamlining existing codes and policies, and really recognize that there are many paths forward to increase housing options for people who are already working here and engaging here. And so we really need to make that happen for everyone in our community and not segregate ourselves.
Sam, would love your thoughts on that question.
Sure. So Tucker benefits from a pretty wide variety of housing options already. Most of them are fortunately taken, but which is a good and a bad thing. But they are also Tucker is also very heavily developed already. There aren't very many tracts of land that can be just clear cut and then put new buildings up. You have to take old buildings down or renovate old buildings, which there are some plans in place to do business to residential transformations that I think we'll see in the next couple of years, hopefully. In the meantime, I think streamlining the code and making sure that developers know exactly what's allowed where will help drive some of that development, making sure that there's no, give and take and negotiations on, maybe a handful of housing that overwrites the code just because the developer asked very nicely. I think that it is going to be increasingly important to provide housing options for young families as well as aging communities and people so that everybody is able to be together.
Thank you so much. That's all the time we have for questions. My thanks to Kathy Cobbs, managing editor of Rough Draft and Reporter Newspapers, and Delaney Tarr, journalist with Supporter Report. We're going to wrap up here with 60-second closing statements from both of our candidates, making your final pitch to the voters of Tucker. Sam Ulrich, your closing statement.
Sure. Thank you for having me on. It was a pleasure to be here today. Tucker has nearly 40,000 residents, but feels like a much smaller community just because of how neighborly everybody is to each other. And that's something that I think we can bring back to both the community and the council, and something that I would like to bring on board with me as I hopefully join the council in the coming months. I think that the collaboration and sharing of information needs to go both ways. We need to be able to inform the voters of what's going on, as well as have the voters inform us of what both needs reviewing and how the things that are being reviewed need to be perceived. And I just appreciate everybody allowing me this opportunity to run for city council, and I look forward to the voting process in the coming weeks as early voting starts on October 14th.
Alexis Weaver, you're 1 minute to kind of make your final pitch to voters of Tucker.
Sure. Over the past 4 years, I've done what District 3 neighbors elected me to do. I've been a voice for inclusion, I've listened, and I've taken action. I prioritize making it easier for everyday people to live, work, and stay here in Tucker by supporting accessible housing policies and smart zoning. From championing community input to strengthening economic development and investing in our parks and trails, I've worked to ensure that the city of Tucker delivers for everyone, even when that has meant casting a dissenting vote. I've helped pass the non-discrimination ordinance to provide legal protections for LGBTQ neighbors and led the charge to make Juneteenth a city holiday. I'm a working mom who's brought an accessibility lens to the council. helping us understand our first ADA analysis with a advisory committee made up of people with disabilities. I'm an urban planner, nonprofit leader. I have strong relationships with local, county, and state leaders and a commitment to transparency and inclusion. I'm asking for your support to continue this work. You can visit alexisfortucker.com for more information, and remember to vote on November 4th.
Thank you so much to the candidates for Tucker City Council District 3. Thanks for joining us today. And I want to thank Rough Draft Atlanta for organizing this panel. Also, thanks to the panelists as well. As you just heard, early voting begins Tuesday, October 14th. Election Day is November the 4th. I'm WABE's Raul Bally. Thanks so much for tuning in.